I think that the TV provides an interesting view on multiple sclerosis, both from the standpoint of whether it be West Wing or other TV programs, or even listening to some of the talk show hosts that are out there who may have MS, or the politicians or the wives of politicians, et cetera. So, you hear it coming from a variety of different places. I think that people are starting to understand that MS is a treatable condition, and now they even have commercials on TV for some medications. So I think back, 20, 30 years ago, before we had any therapies, the dogma for telling patients about their diagnosis of MS was kind of like, well, we don't really have anything, so we shouldn't even tell them about the diagnosis. We'd only tell the family members, right? And that was probably not very good at the time, right? So now it's really about educating the community about what MS is, what to look for, so that people actually might come to the physician at a much earlier time point with symptoms. And I think, more and more you hear people becoming educated, because I think the whole U.S. community is very health conscious, and they're very interested in taking responsibility for their own health. So they hear more and they're more interested. So people are talking about MS, and they're talking about, hey, MS is a treatable condition. There are drugs out there now. Now we're up to 13 drugs, maybe hopefully soon to be 14 drugs. That's pretty good PR out there for the disease, and being able to educate the lay audience. But like I said, some of the portrayals of MS on TV may not be so accurate. I don't know. I think that MS, when I started in this field 20 some odd years ago, there was no drugs available to treat MS. And when the first interferon became available, it was like, a wonderful time. But to have been in this field for this long and see the progress that we've made, it's very, very gratifying and rewarding as a clinician to be able to do that, and a clinical researcher. And I think that we've done fairly well at being able to control that relapsing phase. I think if you look at where our next efforts are for the next decade or so, we're clearly engaged in the conversation of progressive disease. So many agents are now being looked at for that phase. We're trying to really nail down how to best assess that. And I think we're making some progress, particularly with certain things in the genetics arena, in the MRI arena. So those are pretty amazing areas. The next phase after that, and we're just starting right now, is the ability to repair. And I think that's what you're going to start to see. I mean, we have one or a couple of agents right now in clinical trials for the repair conversation. And I think that that's the next phase of where we're going to be over the next decade or two.